Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie Von Slaughter.
And we are here to conclude our reviews of the Elvira comic books that are available, at least as of now. So if you didn't see, we've done 3 reviews already of Volume 1, 2, and 3 of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. That was the 12-issue series that has come out, plus the 1 spring special. Now we are here to review the limited 4-issue series by the same writer. I'm not sure if it's the same artist. We'll check in just a second. But we're going to be talking about the Shape of Elvira, which, in case the cover didn't tip you off, it's basically the shape of water with Elvira. So it's quite fun. It's a little departure, but it's definitely an entertaining book. And actually, it's not even that much of a departure from what we got in that 12-issue series, is it? So this one is written by, of course, David Avallone. The artist in this one is Fran Strucken. And the colorist is Maxim Simic. And letterer Taylor Esposito, editor Kevin Kettner. So the artwork is going to be a little bit different, but it's actually not that far off of what we got from Dave Acosta. A little bit, but not terribly far. So in this one, of course, Elvira is doing her thing on her special couch there, which everyone knows from her TV show. But she's basically given an offer via her agent to go and be a part of a secretive movie by a reclusive director who ends up being Guillermo del Toro, essentially. And she's brought into this mansion here for a special shoot. And there's a lot of different jokes that they do in this, including referencing the director's other movies, including Mercury's Maze, Pan's Labyrinth, Voltrons versus Cloverfields, Pacific Rim, The Kid from Styx, Hellboy, or Scarlet Crest, Crimson Peak. So they have all of these names, and there's something that says bottom of page 6. It says there's a cum joke on page 1. So that's where it sets the stage, apparently. Let me make sure and see. Blah blah blah. Okay, let me make sure I can read this for you guys. Now, usually I'd like to come first and last, but you don't always get what you want, she says. So,
I love her.
Yeah, right off the bat, he's diving into that adult material for Elvira, which is nice, though, because you don't want them to, sugarcoat or anything like that. So I think the bottom of page 6, let's see. I'm just going to... I'm not sure. I don't want to hold everyone up. I guess.
Can I just say how much I love Doug Jones?
Yeah.
Real quick sidetrack.
Okay.
While you're figuring that out.
Fair
He's
enough.
Amazing.
Fair enough.
His hugs are like from Jesus.
So the lawyer for the production gets brought in with Elvira's contract that she is to sign, which is that many pages, and they're like, well, it's just this director is very secretive, and so you can't really can't talk about anything, and this is just par for the course. But she signs it, and she's a part of the movie, and there's a bunch of throwbacks to things that we've seen in Guillermo del Toro movies, including a sort of pale man kind of thing here, where instead of the eyeballs in the hands, it's mouths in the hands of a pale-looking character. And but not long into the production, she ends up meeting the production's writer, and they end up, striking a friendship, right away, and a little bit more because there's flirtation going on, which is, I thought it was really interesting because, it's obviously a bit self-serving. Elvira's falling for the writer. David Avallone is a writer, so it might be a bit of projection there, but but nonetheless, it's nice to see that Elvira doesn't have, unrealistic standards, right? That's nice. So,
how's your head? I haven't had any complaints yet.
yeah, exactly. Jokes like that. There's a lot of fun stuff like that, but it's very, it's a little bit of on-set drama that Elvira has to deal with, and soon she is introduced to not only the director but the star, which is the director right here, of course, which is made to look like Guillermo del Toro after a fashion. And then the star, which is the Gill Man, who they call Gill. So she thinks it's a man in special effects, who they say is just a method actor, right? He is doing all of this because he's the Daniel Day-Lewis of, genre movies.
Right.
So that brings us to issue number 2 here, and I'll give you a close look at that. But the story continues. Elvira is in the movie, and she starts to have scenes with the Gill Man, but the Gill Man, turns out, is quite interested in Elvira, not unlike, part of the story from that Spring Break special.
I mean,
Spring
who
special.
isn't?
Yeah. There was a different creature from the Black Lagoon that was sort of into her in that one. Now it's the Gill Man. But the story continues, and they start filming scenes, and it turns out that the Gill Man is protective of Elvira, and she's scared at first, but ultimately appreciative, even though it seems to be kind of ruining the production, but kind of not. So Elvira kind of develops a affinity for him as well, and she ends up having a dream sequence, just like in the movie. Yeah, a dream sequence like in the movie where she's dancing with the Gill Man here. So that's a fun little homage that they did as well. But unfortunately, it ends a little bit creepier, where she wakes up after the dream, and the Gill Man is literally on top of her, staring at her while she's sleeping.
Okay,
so.
Doug well, no, you know what? I can't say that he wouldn't do that.
Well, you don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say that.
No, I mean, he probably wouldn't, but how you would react is up in the cards.
Doug shows is an amazing person.
We don't know exactly how you'd react to it, though. You might be okay with that.
People have their things.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
So moving on to issue number 3, and then rounding out with 4. This is the cover for issue 3, so you guys can see. But things progress, and Elvira, we once again see her badass ride behind her there. They bring that in once again from the movie, and continues to be awesome. But she's approached by a couple of law enforcement officers, I think FBI or something, that are trying to investigate the possibility of a real creature that's being, used in the production, and she thinks it's silly, but she ends up having more interactions with Gillman and realizes that it's maybe not so silly and doesn't want to hand him over, and it becomes quite like the Shape of Water, where she tries to break the Gillman out with the help of a couple of workers and things like that. And I hesitate to say where it all goes, because it's bit of a spoiler, so I won't. So, Susie, what did you think of this one overall?
Okay, I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I liked the artwork when Dave was doing it.
A little better?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not bad,
again,
though.
It's not bad, but I still appreciated it. It was very, again, Elvira fashion, and I thought it was great. I love her.
Okay. It still serves the story fine, though.
Yeah. No, it was good with the story, like I said.
And then, of course, the final issue, number 4 here. Yeah, we won't spoil how it wraps up, but I'll see if there's any final artwork. And actually, hang on, is this? No, this artwork is a little bit different. The artist for the final issue is Pasquale Quilano. So it looks like they actually changed artists here at one point, unless that's who I said it was before. But it looks different. It looks definitely looks a little bit altered.
Yeah.
A little more comic booky than the last few were. So yeah, the artwork changes. That's kind of strange, but nonetheless, the story wraps up just fine. There ends up being a kind of secret informant kind of thing going on here, and the story itself I thought was entertaining enough, and especially when it introduces that there might be more than one Gillman, and that so the director, his whole reasoning for doing this whole thing is he's trying to have the Gillman breed with someone so he can have the next evolution of humanity. What he doesn't realize is the Gillman might not be a Gillman after all, and that's kind of a reveal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just remember.
So yeah, that's a funny reveal as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how everything plays out, and I won't tell you exactly what happens, but from there, it's just a fun little ending, and
like,
do or do not Elvira and the writer end up together? That's kind of the question, but that's all we're left with for now as far as Elvira comics go. So you weren't as big a fan of the artwork, you said.
I did like the artwork in that one.
In that last one, you liked
yeah,
it more?
just
okay.
the other one, I wasn't.
You weren't
too,
as big a fan on the earlier ones?
Yeah, it just seemed too bland.
Interesting.
I guess there wasn't enough, I don't think, like, definition for me.
Okay.
So, I mean, the story was great.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. But even with with the last one, like, as you said perfectly, it's very much more comic book-y. So...
You think
I think
stick
it's
with
fun.
Dave Acosta
Yeah,
is what
sorry.
we got to do. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. But overall, successful series.
Yes.
I mean, I think, I don't know. If I had to rank them, I think I would still put it above the last 3 or the last 4 issues of the main series. But yeah, not as entertaining as the first 2 volumes. So all in all, still, it's a really good entry. And if you like Elvira, you'll like all of the jokes. Obviously, with a cum joke on page 1, you know you're in for it. And it does continue, but we have to curtail how many of those things we can mention in a review. So if it sounds interesting to you, check it out. It's The Shape of Elvira. It might be volume 3 or volume 4 in the series. Technically it's volume 5 or volume 4 rather, but they might shift it around when you order them on Amazon. I'm not really sure, but it is The Shape of Elvira. Worth your time. Check it out. If you enjoyed the video, you guys, click the like button and subscribe. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie Slaughter.
And remember, stay scared.